1 minute ago. The clock is ticking. What we warned about in our last video was not a prediction. It is happening right now. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has been officially cornered. This is no longer a soft war. This is an ultimatum. Senior sources inside Westminster have just confirmed that Starmer has only 3 days, exactly 72 hours, to make a decision that will define not only his career but the future of the British government. The ultimatum is clear and it is brutal. Back down immediately before Prince William withdraws the reform proposals or face a vote of no confidence that will end his premiership instantly. This is an unprecedented situation in modern British history. A future king with a single public refusal has activated a constitutional time bomb right under the feet of the sitting Prime Minister. The reports we're getting from insiders describe an atmosphere of absolute chaos inside number 10 Downing Street. Starmer is reportedly in a rage, shouting at aides, isolated, and finally realising that he has miscalculated catastrophically. He thought Prince William would simply stay silent and accept the modernisation reforms. He was fatally wrong, and now he is paying the price. The snub at Lancaster House was not the end of the story. It was just the opening shot in a war Starmer has no chance of winning. He is in an inescapable trap, a perfect trap of his own making. The only 2 options left on the table both lead to total political annihilation. One is the public humiliation of kneeling in surrender to a royal family he sought to control. The other is a disgraceful overthrow by his own parliament. How did it all happen so fast? How does the Prime Minister lose complete control in just a matter of days? Because, as we said, he chose to pick a fight with a beloved icon, and now he is facing the consequences. So where is this ultimatum coming from exactly? This is the most shocking part. It is not just coming from the opposition. It is not just Rishi Sunak sensing blood in the water. No, this ultimatum is an unholy alliance between the opposition and, far more terrifying for Starmer, senior members of his own party. Labour MPs who had been privately nervous for weeks are now in open revolt. They have seen the polling. They have seen that 68% of the British public are backing Prince William. They know that continuing this war with a beloved royal family, especially with the Prince and Princess of Wales, is political suicide. Our sources inside the Labour Party describe secret meetings taking place over the last 48 hours. Party elders have met with Starmer privately and told him in no uncertain terms, "Stop this, back down. You are destroying us." They have reportedly offered him a brutal deal. Starmer must publicly announce that the government is pausing and reviewing the royal funding proposals. He must issue a public apology, perhaps through a third party, to Kensington Palace for the misunderstanding in protocol. If he does this, they will try to protect him. But if he refuses, they will openly join the opposition in calling for a vote of no confidence. They made it clear, we would rather sacrifice you than let this entire ship go down. This is a betrayal of the highest order. Starmer is no longer fighting William. He is fighting for his own political life against the very people who put him in power. And that 72-hour clock is not a threat. It is a promise. A vote of no confidence. Many people hear this phrase but fail to understand its true terror. This is not just a debate, it is the nuclear weapon of the British Constitution. It is a formal procedure in the House of Commons where members of Parliament vote to decide if they still have confidence in the incumbent government and its Prime Minister. If Starmer loses this vote, he isn't just embarrassed. He is required to resign instantly. It's over. His government collapses. His power evaporates in a single afternoon. And this is why it is the perfect trap for a vote to be called. The opposition, led by Rishi Sunak, cannot do it alone. But now, with public outrage peaking and the Labour Party splitting in two, the math has changed. Labour MPs in marginal constituencies are receiving thousands of emails and calls from furious constituents, people who love the royal family and are appalled by Starmer's attack. They don't care about the details of modernisation. They just see an arrogant Prime Minister trying to bully Prince William and Princess Catherine. And these MPs would rather betray their Prime Minister than lose their seats at the next election. Rishi Sunak knows this. He is publicly calling on Labour MPs with a conscience to put the country before their party. It is a genius political move. By siding with William, Sunak has cast himself as the defender of tradition and the Constitution. While Starmer is being painted as a dangerous extremist, Starmer is looking straight down the barrel of a gun. He knows that if that vote is called, he will lose. It is a cold, hard, mathematical certainty. The panic inside the Labour Party is not just a few dissenting voices, it is a full-blown meltdown. Let's talk about the numbers, because these numbers are sealing Starmer's fate. The overnight poll showed 68% of the public backing William, but the number that is terrifying Starmer is the other one, 31%. That is the percentage of Labour voters, his own supporters, who actually back him in this fight. That means a staggering 69% of his own base does not support him or wants him to back down. This is an irreversible collapse of loyalty. The Labour MP WhatsApp groups, which our previous video described as concerned, have now reportedly escalated from outright panic to full-blown mutiny. MPs from the moderate wing of the party, the ones who need the support of centrist voters, are screaming that Starmer has single-handedly handed the next election to the Conservatives. One senior MP, speaking anonymously, told a journalist, "We spent 14 years rebuilding our image. 14 years convincing the country we were not extremists, and in 72 hours he has burned it all to the ground. He picked a fight with the most trusted man in Britain, second only to his wife." The anger isn't just from the moderates. Even the hard-left Republican wing of the party, the ones who genuinely dislike the monarchy, are furious. They are enraged that Starmer has chosen the wrong hill to die on. They wanted a fight over public services, over the economy. Instead, they are being dragged into an unnecessary constitutional war that they are losing. Starmer has achieved the impossible. He has united his entire party against him. And if you think that betrayal is limited to the backbenches, you are mistaken. The real shock, the fatal blow, is coming from inside Starmer's own cabinet. Sources from inside an emergency cabinet meeting this morning describe a brutal and vicious scene. Senior ministers, Starmer's closest allies, are no longer defending him. They are trying to save their own careers. The Foreign Secretary, David Lammy, who was publicly humiliated at the Commonwealth event, was reportedly apoplectic. He told Starmer that Britain's diplomatic standing has been catastrophically damaged, that Commonwealth leaders are deeply insulted, and that they are siding with William. But the most painful blow came from his Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner. Rayner, who has always had a sharper political instinct than Starmer, reportedly told him to his face, "You've lost Keir. The public has decided. The game is over. The only question now is how much we can save from the wreckage." She made it clear that if Starmer tries to fight this, she will not publicly defend him. It was a veiled threat of resignation. Imagine that. Your own Deputy Prime Minister in front of the entire cabinet essentially calling you a dead man walking. Starmer has lost the room. He has lost his cabinet. And when a Prime Minister loses the support of the very people he appointed, he is no longer a leader. He's just a man occupying an office waiting for the execution. And while all of Westminster is burning, while Keir Starmer is desperately fighting for his political life, what is Prince William doing? He is doing what he does best. He is silent, a dignified, powerful and utterly terrifying silence. Kensington Palace has issued no further comments since its nuclear statement about defending the Constitution, and that silence is louder than any words could be. William does not need to say anything more. He lit the fuse. Now he is simply standing back and watching his enemy self-destruct. This is a masterstroke of strategy. By refusing to engage in daily political mudslinging, William maintains his position above politics. He is not a politician trying to score points. He is a protector, a son defending his family's legacy, a future king defending the Constitution. He has cast Starmer as the aggressor and himself as the reluctant defender. The press is lionising him. Veterans are gathering outside Buckingham Palace to show their support. Commonwealth leaders are reportedly making private calls to him. William's soft power, the very thing Starmer dismissed, has been activated as a hard weapon. Starmer brought a knife to a diplomatic gunfight. He thought he was fighting a ceremonial figurehead. He has discovered he is fighting a deeply popular cultural force, a global brand, and a will of iron that will not back down. William doesn't need to issue an ultimatum. The entire country is doing it for him. And his silence, his calm, only makes Starmer look even more desperate and weak. So let's analyse the trap. Let's look at the first option in Starmer's 72-hour ultimatum: back down, surrender. He could call an emergency press conference at Downing Street. He could stand in front of the flag and say that after careful listening and deep reflection, the government will be pausing all proposals related to royal reform. He could say it was all a misunderstanding and that he has the utmost respect for the Prince of Wales. This would end the immediate crisis, right? Wrong, it would just be the beginning of his political death. Instantly, he would be branded the weakest Prime Minister in modern history. The opposition would feast. Rishi Sunak would declare that Starmer is a coward. A man who was publicly humiliated by a non-elected member of the royal family. The press would crucify him. They would call him Keir the Quitter. But the real danger would come from inside his own party. The Republican left wing, the very people who reluctantly supported him, would feel utterly betrayed. They would scream that he had caved to unelected privilege, that he had proven he has no spine. They would say, "We elected you to bring change, not to kneel before a prince." And he would lose their support forever. And most importantly, he would lose all authority. From that moment on, everyone in Westminster, from lobbyists to union leaders to foreign heads of state, would know that Starmer can be bullied. They would know that if you push him hard enough, he will break. He would become a lame duck Prime Minister in his very first year. He might keep the title, but he would have lost all power. It is a living death. And the second option, the courageous option, is to fight. Starmer could choose to die on this hill. He could walk out and double down. He could give a fiery speech about parliamentary sovereignty, claiming that no one, not even a prince, is above an elected government. He could call the threats from his own MPs a cowardly bluff and declare that he will fight the vote of no confidence and win. It would sound powerful, wouldn't it? It would sound like a true leader, but it would be the most spectacular act of political suicide imaginable.